Got a letter in the mail.
Got a letter in the mail.
Say go to war, go to jail.
Go to war, go to jail.
Got a letter in the mail.
Got a letter in the mail.
In the early morning rain.
In the early morning rain.
Ask me what I want to be.
Ask me what I want to be.
Said I wanted to PT.
Said I wanted to be tea.
Hey YouTube, welcome back to the Operations Order series. My name is Lieutenant Lindsay, and today I'll be covering Situation. If you're just joining me, I highly advise that you go back at the end of this video and look at my orientation video and cover over the entire series of the Operations Order. I also highly advise that you take notes throughout this series so that you will have a skeleton ready to go whenever you get to OCS. Alright, so today we are covering Situation. And Situation follows after the orientation paragraph. And after looking at the terrain as briefed in the orientation paragraph, you need to understand who is in the immediate area. The Situation paragraph provides details on both friendly and enemy personnel operating in your area of operations. We combine our understanding of the terrain with an understanding of enemy forces we are facing and what friendly support we may have around us to help our decision-making process for finding our solutions. So we have to know what's going on around us when we are giving orders. So this is why the Situation paragraph is super important in the overall operation order. It tells you who is operating near you, not only your friendly forces, but also your enemy forces, okay? So this paragraph is split up into three subparagraphs. We have enemy situation, friendly situation, and attachments and detachments, all right? So starting with the enemy situation. The information on the enemy situation section is covered in two sections called T-SWALY and Draw D. So we have T-SWALY, all right, time, size, unit, activity, location, and equipment, all right. And we want to know, when did we last see the enemy, how big was the enemy, what unit or organization is the enemy with, the activity the enemy was doing, where they were located or last seen, and what equipment do they have with them. All right, so you can see here I put an example for you. All right, so time starts with 1500. The last time we saw the enemy was at 1500 hours. They were a platoon-sized element of the Republican Guard. All right, it's important to know that they are the Republican Guard because this is an elite unit, right? If we were just facing some regular unit, we want to know the difference, okay? Who are we up against? All right, so in this scenario, Republican Guard. All right, the activity is building a gun emplacement. All right, their location is at grid 11224455. I say again, 11224455. And you can see I repeated that twice. All right, anytime there's a grid, like we talked about in the orientation section, anytime there's a grid, you have to repeat those numbers twice in case people are taking them down or somebody misses something. We want to make sure everybody is on the same page. All right. Typically for location too, if you don't get briefed a location, it is just the objective location. All right, so that is, if you're not sure when you're at OCS and you're sitting there and you're like, they didn't say location, I don't know what to, you might have to fill in some things, okay? And that's just where you start drawing information from other paragraphs. So generally, if you're given a location of the enemy, that's your objective. All right, so then we have equipment here. All right, and so the enemy has AK-47s, IEDs, and they're wearing tan uniforms. All right, so it's important to know not only what kind of small arms we might be up against, maybe they have some IEDs or mines or something later on, but what kind of uniforms are they wearing? It's important to know your enemy, right? So that's why we have equipment, and that's why we say that in equipment. All right, so the next part of this paragraph is Draw D. All right, this information highlights which course of action the enemy is likely to take. It comes in the format of defend, reinforce, attack, withdraw, and delay. All right, we are based off the information we've just been briefed on the enemy situation, plus the orientation paragraph. We have to then decide. Well, we may not get told. You might not even be told during your briefing, but you have to make a decision about what the enemy is going to do. Okay, they might decide to reinforce or defend this position because they're building a gun emplacement. For this example, though, we've been told that they're going to attack. Okay, so like I said, you may not get briefed all this information. You may not get briefed any of this information. Sometimes you have to make it up based off of what you know. Okay, so If you don't get to draw a D, for example, still brief it. Make something up. Synthesize based on what information you're given, right? In this scenario, if we knew they were building a gun emplacement, we also might, and we weren't told what they were going to do, whether they were going to defend, reinforce, attack, withdraw, or delay. We might assume that they are going to defend that position, or they might be reinforcing that position. It could be any of those, right? So you can pick one if you're not given one specifically. All right, so the second part of this paragraph is friendly situation, all right? And friendly situation is information about friendly units. Information in this subparagraph comes directly from hires orders, okay? And it's using the acronym HAS A. So the first one is hire unit mission. The mission of the next hire unit for a squad leader, this would come from the platoon commander, okay? So in this instance, we're a fire team, and our hire unit is first squad. So, on order, first squad will attack on the left 1/3 flank in order to destroy enemy gun emplacements. Okay, so we know what our overall squad's objective is doing, what we're doing in the big picture. That's what higher unit mission is. What is the next unit above us doing? If we were to squad, what's our platoon doing? If we're the platoon, what's the company doing? And etc. all the way up. So this is just your higher unit mission, and you get this when you get briefed. It comes from your commander's intent, okay? So when you're getting a briefing, be paying attention to the briefer and his commander's intent, because whatever he says for commander's intent, that's the mission of your higher unit, okay? All right, so the next part is adjacent units. All right, we got to know what the enemy, or what, not the enemy, what our friendly units next to us are doing, okay? So when you're in a fire team, in a squad, you've always got 3 fire teams. So you're going to have 2 other fire teams that you got to keep track of within your squad. So in this instance, we've got 3rd fire team on the left and 1st fire team is on the right. Okay, so we're 2nd fire team. Now that's a really basic way of saying it. There is a whole lot of different ways you can do this. All right, you can say adjacent unit mission. On order, 3rd fire team will attack the enemy position, the 1/3 left of the enemy's position, in order to destroy enemy gun emplacements. Okay, you could say that. It just depends on what you get briefed and how much time you have. For simplicity, though, you can brief just what location they're at. Okay, it just depends on what you're doing. If you're doing a SULI versus an LRC, you'll understand and you'll get the idea later on. But that's the basic premise. All right, so then we've got supporting unit mission, which is non-organic units providing combat support to your unit. So like a machine gun attachment or a sniper attachment, something like that, okay, or artillery, and it could be a supporting unit. But you might also have attachments or detachments, okay? So these are also non-organic units that are either attached, which is added to your unit, or detached, taken away from your unit, and you want to know and keep track of those, okay? At OCS, both of these will be none. You won't have supporting units and you won't have attachments or detachments. And you must say none in your order. If you don't, you won't get the points for that, okay? So you have to make sure that you're briefing it as none and none, all right? Anything that you don't have, you always brief as none. Okay, so to finish up here, we're going to go with shorthand of the day. I did this, or I wanted to start this in this video so that you guys could get a little bit of the shorthand and understand how to write some of the shorthand. Okay, so we've got on order is OO. Sometimes there's a backslash in between the two, but that's a shorthand, so when you're writing fast, you don't have to write out on order, you can just write OO. All right, same with fire team, FT, squad, SQ, platoon, PLT, and in order to IOT. All right. And then we've also got a little hand signal over here. And I know it's a little bit difficult to see this picture, but it was one of the best ones I could find. His hand's right here, okay? He's touching his shoulder. All right, so typically if you're a right-handed shooter, you're using your left hand and you're touching your right shoulder. So you're crossing across and touching that right shoulder. What this hand signal means is fire team, all right? You are calling on your fire team to come and pay attention to you. You might be getting ready to give them a new hand signal. You might be ready to tell them something. So this is something for them to notice you and get their attention. Okay, so it's one of the most basic hand signals. And as we go through this video series, I will continue to add on to the shorthand and the fire team. So pay attention to each video and take note of those. Okay, those will help out, and I'll even make some other videos later on about those two specific sections. Okay, so if you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will put a thumbnail up in the upper right corner there for the first video in the series, so make sure you check that out and continue to come back each day to see each of the different series.
Got a letter in the mail.
Say go to war, go to jail.
Go to war, go to jail.
Got a letter in the mail.
Got a letter in the mail.
In the early morning rain.
In the early morning rain.
Ask me what I want to be.
Ask me what I want to be.
Said I wanted to PT.
Said I wanted to be teen.
Ask me what I want to be.